This is episode 66 of the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. In this episode, we're going to go over the athlete license, what it brings and what it means for Hyrox. And then we're going to talk about tapering. How do you taper into your event? What kind of lessons can you learn? And what's the best way to go about it? Let's make hybrid fitness work for you. How's it going today, JK?
I'm well, thank you, Mr. Pericini. How are you, mate?
I'm good. I've been working out more. I am getting ready, dude. I am going to be the best partner. After the new year. And I was having, you ever have I'm sure, I know you do actually. I don't have to ask you if you do. I know you do, but I'm going to share mine. When I was running thresholds yesterday, I was running them late. I was having these visions like, I'm going to go out there and JK and I were going to hit like 51 in the doubles. I was in my mind, like, what if I just, you have those fantasies in your head of visions of as you're running your thresholds, you're like, I'm amazing. Maybe you're not running that fast there, but you're like, I'm amazing. What if I went and just popped a 55 solo all of a sudden? Like, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Elite 15. Here we come. Yeah, I get those.
I just want to disclaimer, that's not going to happen.
Who knows, mate? Who knows? Who knows? Have you done a double threshold day yet?
Yeah. Actually, so what I've been doing is I always watch something like my entertainment for while I'm running. I'm sure you watch something or listen to something too.
Yeah.
This summer when I started running the thresholds again, I started at the very first televised race of Lauren's that I could watch. I think it was the Elite 12. I watched that race, and I've watched every single televised race since then. So I watched the Elite 12, then I watched the Dallas Invitational, then I watched the North America or the US Championships. And these are all streamed on these are old, 4, 5, 6-year-old videos, right? They're all streamed on different platforms. But I've been watching all of her races and subsequently all the other athletes' races starting from the Elite 12. And I had videos, but each time I get on the treadmill to run a threshold, I watch a new one. And I didn't even mean to, but it looks like it's perfectly timed out for me as long as I'm doing my double thresholds each week and a strength run, and I keep watching something during those 3 things 3 times a week, I will finish Chicago Worlds 2025 as the last workout before Hamburg.
So I have it perfectly.
12, there should be 12 more races left to watch. And 13 if I can find the Dubai race from 2023. But besides that, I just finished watching 2023 Maastricht, the North American Championship or the European Championship.
The European Championship, yeah.
So that was a good race. I forgot that, that's just 2 years ago. That's only 2 years ago. And we were still at that point in time, not like the big production, but it still wasn't on Hyrox's YouTube channel. You have to go to either HFM or the OCR report to find these old videos, or you have to go to other platforms too that maybe streamed them.
It's crazy how it's changed drastically over 2 years.
Yeah, it's just the production quality, the videoing, the commentary, It's just so interesting, just like the rapid change that it had. It's only 2 years away. Um, but watching that, they still started the men and women on the course at the same time, like 20 minutes
That's
apart
right.
from each other.
That's
So,
right. Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah,
um,
that's cool. For some reason lately, I listen to music on my thresholds. I listen to podcasts on easy runs and easy stuff, but thresholds, right? For some reason, Anthony, I've been listening to lo-fi chill music when I'm running. It's like really like calming kind of like morning kind of like sunrise, like waking up type of music. I don't know, like, and for some reason
that
that's the music I'm listening to on my thresholds, and I'm loving it.
that doesn't want to make you yawn while you're running a
No, I
threshold.
love it. I don't know why. It's just something that I just want to listen to when I'm when I'm on the treadmill for some reason. I'm sure like I'm a type of person that like it's not as if I always go to one genre or I always listen or always watch something. It's just like how I'm feeling. But for the last maybe 2 weeks, it's been lo-fi chill mix. I'm sure it'll change to a bit more upbeat, closer to Hamburg, but yeah, it's interesting. I haven't gone back and watched any races, by the way, and I don't know if I will. I don't know if I should. I know you obviously love to do so.
Yeah, I like to go back and look at the races. I think they're lots of fun. But should we we're gonna jump in here just what we're gonna talk
Yep.
about today. Um, so guys, we're not gonna be addressing listener questions today, but if you have questions for the upcoming episode that we're gonna talk about, we'll do, please send them in. Our two big topics today that we're gonna be going over. Number one is they just released the athlete license and what that means. And so we're going to talk about the athlete license. We're going to talk about what it means, what it does, how it relates to the anti-doping policy, and what we're going to go from there. Um, but we're going to talk about that in a way that I want to hear everybody's questions and opinions, actually, as well, on PEDs and WADA and anti-doping with this athlete license, because we have decided that this is probably going to warrant a whole episode in itself, and we want to get prepared for it. So it's not going to be this week, but maybe next week or the week after, we will have a an anti-doping episode.
Yeah.
Additionally, coming up in our bank of episodes here that we're gonna rehash Threshold, not this week, not today, but either next week or the week after. So those are gonna be the next couple episodes that we're gonna do. But today, after we talk about the athlete license, we're gonna talk all about tapering and how to nail your taper, why we taper, what the point of a taper is, and more on that subject. Like, what is happening within your body when you taper?
Yep. Yep.
This is a fantastic discussion because actually JK and I just had this discussion in your one-to-one right before this for tapering, because we were talking about the different tapers you did last year and how do you want to taper to go into Hamburg. So
Yep.
there's a lot of different ways to taper. So we'll get into that. Um, JK, I don't know if you have a hard cutoff today. Um, but if so, I believe you said 43 minutes from now. So it might be a little bit shorter episode, but that's okay. I think we can cover everything we've just discussed within that time.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Um, so athlete license agreement.
Athlete license agreement. All right. So just to start off, let's just talk about what it is and what Hyrox themselves announced. Um, so do you have that email? I don't think I have it in front of me.
I can get it up. Yeah.
We saw a lot of things on that, but just super high priority on that topic is that, like, guys, this is a fantastic thing. And I saw a lot of comments on different media posts, and JK, I saw you responded that it's not it's not a money grab. This is fantastic in legitimizing the sport, and they are just following in the path of like what basically every sport does. Wrestling, you have to have like your membership license, right? That's basically the exact same thing. Triathlon, you have to have your membership license. USATF, so the United States Triathlon Federation, they make you have an athlete license, and that license is like $1,000 a year. They're
Yeah.
charging you guys 197 euros, which is like 240. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Um, this is perfect. This is definitely something that's been needed, and I think it shows excellence coming in the future.
Yeah. Well, I totally agree. And that was my first response, Anthony, is like got the email and I was like, this is great. This is telling me as one of the elite athletes in the field, that hey, like Hyrox is trying to make this as professional as possible, as quickly as possible.
Absolutely.
So,
Taking it
and
seriously.
look, like the concept of the the money and having to pay, like, I mean, who like we're so I feel so lucky to be able to race in high profile, high elite races. So the least I can do is pay as you just said, a small sum to be able to do so.
Well,
And
it's not like it's unprecedented, and
no,
I was laughing about it. It's kind of meant for like 30, maybe 40 people, which
yeah,
makes sense. And with the direction of like High Rocks going and everything, it's meant for 30 or 40 people to buy this license and call it 200 euros, right? Even if it's
yeah,
40 people of each gender,
yeah,
right? So you're talking 80 people at 200 euros. You're talking what is that? I think my
um,
math is off here.
the
$16,000
yeah,
or 16,000
the
euro? What?
yeah,
20 times? Yeah, 16,000 euros. They're not making money off of this. This is very simply just there to cover drug testing and administrative fees
yeah,
because you need somebody to run it. That is it. This is very low cost.
yeah.
Um,
I think furthermore, I think my response, Anthony, is it allows the sport, or it allows us as the athletes and the elite athletes to um, know and understand that hey, like um, Hyrox, as a company, are going to do their utmost best to keep this as professional as possible with an agreement like this, with a license like this, to make sure that it's fair play, all round. And yeah, sure, like fair play all round in terms of such things as like making sure that uh, the safety of each race is on point, but obviously more so than that, make sure that um, the drug testing is on point as well, and that's probably the most important thing about the license agreement. Is that what you believe, Anthony? Is like, well, it's pretty much saying, okay, like we're giving this agreement out, this license, so that we can do everything possible to make sure that everyone's clean.
yeah. And it sounds like it's heading more towards, which we'll talk about later, that this could be directing, which is in the rule book now, like out of competition testing,
Yeah,
right? Which is what like everyone's wanting, and this puts you in that drug pool. And they have to like people. I don't think people understand. You can't just put something in your rule book and then go test anybody willy nilly. Like there's legal requirements in 200 countries, where however many countries that they're in, right?
yeah,
That you have to follow. You
yeah,
have to follow like all those legal requirements. And there's like healthcare conflicts and things that you have to be able to do. So um, I think this is super important in directing in that direction or moving in that direction. Um, and this is just one step. And what's really cool is like now they're not just saying, at least for this season, I'm interpreting it as like right now you better get your High Rocks athlete license if you expect to compete in the Elite 15, because if not, if you go get a qualifying time and you don't have this in place, meaning you can't be drug tested, maybe that qualifying time uh,
Yeah.
doesn't count for getting you into the Elite 15. So they're bringing it further down as like, because I mean, in my opinion, the people that would be most likely trying to gain the edge right now would be the people that are like, hey, I'm gonna go race dirty, get myself into the Elite 15, and then I'll worry about getting clean before I ever get to be tested at a major or one of those races. And now they're saying, well, now you can be tested at these pro races where you get these qualifying times, and you have to have
Yeah,
this
exactly.
license in place prior to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's a fantastic step in the new direction. And then they added like there's benefits to it. So you get wave one seating, right? And the Elite 15, uh, or not the Elite 15, but you get wave one. So like now you have this athlete license. It means that you've hit before a time of like 57:04 for the men or 63:21 for the women, or you have a doubles time that's like reasonably fast, right? Um, what it does though is it allows means that like you're not going to come from a later heat to when you shouldn't be. When
Yep.
you're at the LCQ and you have an average time of 64 minutes from the women, you're not going to be put in the third or fourth heat. You're going to be put in that first heat.
Yep.
Um, and if anybody thinks that it reduces the ability of rookies to get in, that's not at all true. Like a rookie has to get in somewhere, somehow, right? They're going to put their expected finish time. There's n You have heats that are 30, 40, 50 people big. There's not going to be 30, 40, there's not even 30, 40, or 50 people that are going to get this athlete license. Um, which also just a quick note on like terminology. I don't see this as a pro card, right? Because this has no bearing on the qualification process. It's just a requirement. It's like a membership. So like the license is a requirement to participate.
Yeah.
Um, but there's not going to be a 40-person heat to start that everybody has these qualifying times and they have these licenses. So you're not going to get in the first heat. It just means that somebody that has shown and established themselves will be in the first heat. It doesn't mean that like, Grayson Kilgore couldn't come from a later heat or he should be put in that first heat to race anyway.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. And obviously they've given the standards as you just went over there. Like so the pro single for the men's standard is 57:04. The women's standard for singles is 1:03:21. Um, and they've obviously got those times from um, correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony, the last 365 days average time to make the Elite 15.
Yeah, so to for the athlete license, you only have to run that time one time in the last
Once.
365 days.
Right,
Um,
right. Yeah.
which even if you haven't and you still have your athlete license, like you still could be in heat one. So it's not
Yeah.
excluding you. This just gives you like, hey, you're really good. We want you racing more. And you're probably going to want more opportunity to get into the Elite 15. We want to give you that opportunity to get into the Elite 15 more. So have this license, be subject to drug testing, and we'll like as far as I read it, they could get into sold out races possibly if they have notice.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so if they're able to get like, hey, you're a good racer. We want you to be into this race. We held back tickets. Here's a ticket into the race. not free, but like here's an entry you can pay for. Um, and then here's Heat 1 access. Great. That just ups the competition.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
from your end, because from my end, I haven't heard a negative thing about the athlete license from any of the elite athletes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's it's not going to apply to 99.9% of people.
Yep.
But those that it does apply to, this is a fantastic step forward.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. And it just shows that, you know, us athletes take this pretty seriously, but hey, like Hyrox is taking it as seriously, which is fantastic.
Yep. And I think how we talked about we might do an anti-doping episode on that. They give you education in here, so you're gonna be given access to the anti-doping code, the arbitration doping, um, like therapeutic use exemption application forms, and the WADA prohibited list. So things that are prohibited. And actually, I think this is part of what we'll do in our anti-doping episode is we'll go into the difference of like what is prohibited, why it's prohibited, the different categories maybe, and um, let's take it from a coach's perspective. Like, how do you tell your athlete like number one, you like if they come to you and are like, "Hey, I was given these free samples of this or that, am I allowed to take it?" How do you determine if that's true? Um,
Mm,
and also number two is we can talk about the way a coach approaches and has this that difficult conversation with athletes, like or something. I like I told you, I get this out of the way early on when we first started. JK, if you're ever like if somebody's caught with a positive test, what do they call it, an adverse analytical finding, um, or if they not just caught, but like they admit to it or something. I always say this in the first week that we're together, I'm not your coach anymore
yeah.
because I won't coach somebody like that because that gives me bad information. Like I build a training plan and I think, wow, you had amazing results off of this. And I think it's the plan. And then come to find out later if it's something else, then all the information I got is bad. And
Yep.
so you're hurting uh, me and anybody else as well. So that conversation, how do you have that with athletes? Maybe we can throw that in with the anti-doping in the one of the episodes.
Yeah. And like, yeah, that's the thing, right? Just on that note, I still remember you saying that to me, and it was probably within the first month or so that we were working together, and yeah, it's that's the thing, right? It doesn't just affect um the athlete per se. It's everyone else that's in their corner as well. So yeah,
And and also like I think what's important to know, especially because coaches, it's very important for coaches to know this too. It's not just like the normal what you think of as PEDs that are on the prohibited list. Like
yes,
there's literally it doesn't matter if you're having legal vitamins and like or something you're taking. If you get anything intravenous injection, IV, that's prohibited and you can
yeah.
get banned for that. It doesn't matter if everything within
Well,
what's in the IV is legal. If you have an IV without a TUE or without an emergency situation, that's subject for a ban.
yep, yep,
So I think coaches need to know that. Like they need to understand the WADA list. And actually, I probably need to go over it again too. It's been a while, so uh, probably a good refresher for all of us. And we'll write up our notes on this and come back. But I think that's a good way to tackle an anti-doping episode. Will be to take it from like coach and athlete.
yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Um, all right. So, do you have anything else to say on the athlete license besides that, like, we think it's a really good thing and a really positive forward direction?
No, just that, just reiterating that. They're upping the game, High Rocks, which is great. Um, and hopefully we can do our part as elite athletes as well.
Yeah. I think let's just go over the cost. It's 197 euros, which I think is about 240 US dollars. And what is that, like 350 Australian dollars?
Something like
Um,
that, yeah.
yeah, it's not that expensive. Let's that like for you, that'd be like 30 Australian dollars a month for the year.
Yep,
Not a big cost, but it goes towards covering like anti-doping testing and administration of testing.
yep.
Um, Hopefully this means that in the future it's heading towards like we'll talk about this as well, the ATOM system, um, which is the anti-doping administration and management system.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
and that's where like you're gonna have to start submitting your location every week or every day where you're gonna be at. You have 1 hour if they show up, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, hey, like on that note, just quickly, like I can't wait for that. Well, it's not a, I can't, I'm sure it'll be frustrating to a degree, but I think it's where the sport needs to be at right here, right now. Out of competition testing.
Yeah, it definitely needs to go that way. I think hopefully we see some of that this year too,
Mm,
because that is
definitely.
something that's part of the license that like they're going to be able to do.
Yep, for
Um,
sure.
so really cool stuff. I wonder if we will see. I hope we do. I hope we see like, hey, somebody has a really good pro race this year, and then they just get pulled off. Like, hey, good job, way to finish. Come on with us.
Yeah. Now, on that, right, if they haven't signed legal
Well,
agreements
that's the
for
thing,
that,
right? Is
are they
they
still
and did I read that right, or is it am I wrong on this? Maybe that doesn't start until next year. They like you have to
I don't
have the
know.
license before your qualifying races, or is
Right,
that
yeah.
just strongly encouraged to have the license before your qualifying races? So like they would need to have it, not
Mm,
this year, but next year. So either way, it's a positive forward step.
for sure, absolutely.
So um, only good things. Did you see any other comments? Any? I don't know what the argument would be, except for people are mad that these 80 people have to pay another 200 euro.
Yeah, I think that's the only, I haven't seen it, but I thought about that's the only thing that people will think, oh
This
my
is,
God, like these are elite athletes, they shouldn't have
I
to pay
mean,
for it.
I
Like,
just,
come on.
if they expect to have 1 million people running this year, you're talking about $100 million company. The 16,000 or euro, $20,000 that the difference is not making it's a what is that? A
Yeah,
hundredth of a decimal point change? Like it's
like
not
the like the
change.
money we have to pay for it isn't for profitable
No.
purposes.
I bet you
No.
they're probably still losing money on it. It's a
Right.
way to like manage that.
Yeah, and I think it's just to standardize, like, okay, it's something to me, it's like the mentality of, all right, okay, I'm paying for this. I'm willing to pay for it. Oh, just on that note, I've already done it. I've already
Yeah.
paid, right? Just because I just like to get that stuff done. And it's like, okay, I've paid for it. Done. Like I'm not getting it for free. I think if we got it for free, it would be seen as like not as professional.
So, and let's just do a little history on this. Last year, you guys all signed this exact same athlete license anyway. It
Yep.
was you guys just had to have your wet signature on it before you ran in your first major. So, like for you, it was like right before Amsterdam last year, right? As you signed yours,
Yep.
and those were valid contracts anyway.
Yep, exactly.
Now it's just extending to anybody that might make the Elite 15 and hopefully towards their qualifying times.
Yep, yep, exactly.
So that's good. Um, I'm glad to hear you already signed up for it too. That's awesome.
Done and done. That's if I
Um,
get, because sorry, the what happens now is like I submitted it, I paid, but then they've got to approve, I think, from their end. Hey,
yeah, but
I
they're
might not get approved.
yeah, okay. JK, do you have the second and third fastest ever times, or do you have the no second and fourth, second and fifth,
I think it's
second and fifth?
second and fifth because of world champs. Yeah,
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 second and fifth. You did have second and third. Now it's second and fifth.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get approved.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Cool. So let's move on. Guys, look for that episode. If it's not the next one, it'll be the one after. I am going to make a note to myself here that I want to make sure we have really good information. So I'm going to deep dive. I'm going to go down the rabbit holes on this one. I'm going to look up everything I can on WADA. Um, I'm going to look up everything I can on um, the what are they called? The mm,
Like the lists,
yeah, the
like the
list of like what can get you banned. Not
yeah,
what can get you banned, but like because I'm sure there's a plethora of substances. I would say like things that can get you banned or get you sanctions. There you go. Things like self-incrimination or taking an IV instead of
yeah,
like an oral, things like that. So I'm gonna go through it. And I think education, maybe like our own education for athletes, is a good way to go about it.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, and how careful you have to be. Like why do you need to get uh sports certified supplements?
Yeah,
I think that's a thing we can look at. I like that. Let's take the educational look, educational coaching athlete uh, stance, like direction on that one. Okay, tapering. Hard pivot here.
here we go.
All right, guys. So what is tapering? JK, what is your definition of tapering?
Oh, definition. What is tapering? What is tapering? Um,
Why do we
Tapering,
taper?
or why do we taper?
There
Okay,
you go.
no,
There you go.
I'll just say a few words. The tapering to me is recovering. Tapering to me is priming your body and your system to allow it to recover so that you can perform um, the high at a high level. It's also allowing your body physically, mentally to catch up to all the work, all the fitness you have put it throughout your training block. And I think that's something to understand. I have one pretty much full rest day a week. That's probably not enough time to really truly allow my body to catch up to itself. Or sorry, allow my body to catch up to all the fitness, all the training I've done week in, week out. So the taper phase is allowing that to happen because I'm lowering my volume, and we'll get into all this. Lowering my volume, intensity is slightly still there, but um, my recovery process, my time to recover is more high. Um, so that my body is hopefully feeling as if um, I've rebounded from, and I use that word because I've heard you use that word a lot, Anthony, like is is rebounding so that I can hopefully put a good hard effort in when it counts, and that's on race day.
Okay. Uh, yeah. So tapering, when I think about a taper, and guys, I'm gonna do a little plug here. I send out tapers like, and the reason I think anybody that follows the hybrid engine that listens to this would know, I send out tapers about 2 weeks out from any event. But I don't send them out like super early, and I don't use the exact same taper for any event or anything. It's always changed a little bit. And the reason behind that is because how do you know what to taper or when to taper if your training is different leading into each event, right? It's not going to be the same. Uh, you shouldn't
Yeah.
have the same one
And it shouldn't be,
because
yeah.
there needs to be three goals in a taper. Those three goals are going to be obviously recovering. So getting maximum recovery so that you can perform at your highest potential. Um, give your muscles a chance to super compensate,
Yeah.
right? You want to have that super compensation and making sure uh, your metabolic fire stays burning. You need to know, like, you don't want if you start reducing your volume too drastically, or you reduce it over too long a period of time, and you give your body a chance to readapt, all of a sudden your metabolic fire um, starts going from like fat oxidation and carb oxidation from one to the other, right? So you're not burning the proper fuel that you're trying to burn during your race. So
Yeah.
the fire that is your metabolism all of a sudden starts to decrease and your body goes into that like, ooh, we need to retain these things. So we turn them into fat. Like instead of keeping it burning and churning. So like,
Yeah.
oh, I can keep burning these fats as my baseline and adding in carbohydrate oxidation. So
Yeah.
those are kind of the three things you need to address in a taper. Um, but the reason that we have a taper is really to get the most out of our training. And one of the things that like I like think of is it doesn't matter. You might have a a taper is extremely important. And the reason is because you might be on different programs and you could say be on a bad program with a great taper and have a great performance or
Yeah.
like you could perform to your maximum ability, right? You could be on a great program, have a bad taper, give a moderate performance that doesn't beat your previous one. And you're like, I felt so much fitter. I was so ready for this. I did all the work. What happened? Well, it probably was somewhere in your taper, right? It was probably somewhere there that kind of wrecked your ability to go into this. And you got to remember, people are different. You're different from everybody else. It's going to start getting more and more specific to you. There are people, there are high level athletes that will train like their normal training. And when they get out of that routine training, is when they actually suffer, right? So they have a worse performance because they tapered or because they tapered too sharply or for
Too
too
hard.
long.
Yeah.
Um, there's other athletes that like they trained too long, they didn't taper, and they have a mediocre or poor performance because they weren't able to access their ability, their highest ability. They got one of the three things wrong.
Yeah.
Um, so there is 1,000 things that go on within your body, and we can't map them all, but we try to manage the big ones, right? The
Yeah.
ones that have the greatest impact, and hopefully the others things fall in line with that. Uh, the hardest thing there is like your metabolism. How do we know which one you are? And it depends too. I think it depends a lot on your like your body, your ectotype. Is that what it's called? Your
The
your
um
body type? What is it?
you
It's ectomorph, endomorph,
yeah.
mesomorph,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah. It depends on what type of person you are as well. Um, So those are super important. But let's take it a little bit. So if we're trying to get you the maximum recovery and
Hmm.
increase your glycogen stores, well, what if I just had you rest? What if I just had you do easy recovery days leading into an event? Yep, that would probably maximize that recovery as much as we could, as long as you had a little bit of blood flow going, but not too much, um, and we're good. But if all I had you do was like 5 days of easy active recovery, would you be prepared for the race?
State that again.
If you had 5 days of easy active recovery, that's what the taper was. 5 days of easy active recovery. Would you be prepared for the race?
No, I would not be.
So you're saying if I trained you up until 5 days beforehand, gave you active recovery, you wouldn't be prepared? Really? Yeah, you would not be. Uh, I was just trying to make sure you were confident in that, JK.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I think, just to go on that, I think personally, and for me, I think I would feel very sluggish on race day. I would probably not be fired. I would like fired. Um, I wouldn't be firing. Obviously, 5 days of active recovery is still slight. There's slight movement there. Like I'm still moving, but I don't have any of my yeah. Like I'm I have not performed any of my power output as needed sometimes in the taper. Um,
So let's talk about that. There's 5 days. We call a 5 day taper a short taper. What's missing?
what's missing
So
in the
yeah,
five?
what's missing if those 5 days leading into the event, all you're doing is 30 to 60 minutes of easy zone one, zone two work, jogging, running, biking, whatever it is. That's the only thing you had done for 5 straight days before your event. You wouldn't be ready. What's missing?
Power output, full stop. Um, and the right sprinkles of power output, let's just call it, if that makes sense, Anthony.
Uh-huh. Okay. Um, so what if I did 5 days of 30 to 60 minutes decreasing, so starting at 60, getting down to 30 the day before, easy runs, easy biking, but I put strides in after them. Does that accomplish it? Would you be ready
Um,
for a race based off that?
no, it does not accomplish it because we're still not hitting different functional movements and planes of motions that we need to as well. With some intensity. And sorry, when I say power, I don't want to use the word intensity, right? That's why I've used the word power output as we discussed beforehand with my taper. But yeah, it's just making sure that we're producing a little bit of power when we need to, all planes of motion, um, with minimal, well, with decreased volume.
Okay. So good. So now we want to add some planes of motion. So let's add a little bit of jumping in there. Let's add a little bit of light resistance movement. Okay. When do I stop that? Because otherwise you're going to start getting just into a training day. And what do I do with threshold?
Mm, yeah. Can I just say, like, that answer is it depends,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
It depends. Let's just use myself as an example then, Anthony. I think we both know that um, just an example, I'm still doing thresholds. I'm still doing my threshold session for 3 or 4 days before a race. Um, the volume of it might be lighter than normal by about maybe 6 to 7 to 8 minutes.
Which,
Um,
I mean, think about that. Like that might sound a bit, but or not enough or too much, depending on who you are. Think about what that is percentage wise. 7 minutes of most of your threshold sessions, you're talking about 20%, a
Yeah.
20% reduction.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Um, and then the what we use the light load and light resistance. I'm still touching a dumbbell or two. I'm still doing wall balls 3 or 4 days out. But again, the volume is light. The intensity is sharp, or the power output is sharp. That's probably what I want to use. Like the power output is sharp. So I'm still, as you just said, jumping. Yeah, jumping lunges. Sometimes even box jumps. Squatting. Um, um, put like burpees and push-ups. Um,
Yep.
yeah,
So, but we're not doing a lot of that, right? So, yes, in a taper, we're not at our peak volume. We're looking for that super compensation from our peak volume, right? But we don't need to crush it all at once. Additionally, you want to look also at power output. You talked about the power output and intensity. It's the total work you're doing. Um, so it's like a 20% reduction, but your effort is not stifled, right? You don't do less volume and less effort. You just do reductions of it if you are tapering fully.
hmm yeah,
Uh, Now we'll talk about, well, how do I want to optimize my metabolism and what does that have to do with the movements I'm doing?
yeah,
Right? So what you want to do is you got to think about what is High Rocks. High Rocks is a long duration, high intensity event. Okay. It's not 20 minutes or less. It's not intensity level of that, but it is keeping you burning for a long time. So
mm,
it's past like your aerobic, it's your aerobic base, right? So when you talk about your aerobic base and something happening for a long time at that level, that's your fat oxidation. But we've talked about before, and we'll talk about it again when we do thresholds, your fat max is only so high. So it's contributing. So you want to make sure that it's contributing enough, and it's going to contribute. But then the rest of your effort in that is contained by your carbohydrates. So your carbohydrate oxidation, right? So you need to be topped off. You need to be able to replenish it too. So that's why, like, hey, we fuel. And if we were smart, JK, we would have a great ad for the feed right here. But I'm just going to tell you guys you can get that stuff at the feed, because we didn't prepare anything. Uh, but
yeah,
you can top off during the race. You can have intra-workout fuels, right? You want to be ready for the demands of the race. And since there's such an aerobic level to this, and then you have these anaerobic spikes. Those are where like are really using that glycogen fuel. If you don't have the glycogen in you, you're not gonna be able to spike up. You're not gonna be able to do that. You're not gonna have this aerobic power, and you're just gonna be going off of whatever your fat oxidation rate is to burn energy.
yeah,
Your training in general helps you keep a higher fat oxidation rate, especially when you're running at LT1. You can be emphasizing that, getting prepared for that. And then what you're eating is your body will use that glycogen in your taper. Uh, it'll top it off, and then the reduced training load decreases the need for constant glycogen turnover, which gives your muscles a chance to supercompensate.
yeah. I think like, and um, I get this question a lot, Anthony. Oh, I'm tapering. I'm not doing as much. Should I reduce my calorie intake as well? And that's what we're saying here. And it's a for me and as as a coach, that's a hard no, because what you're saying there, Anthony, is making sure that that extra, that it's not extra glycogen because you should be eating like normal, but it's extra because you're not training as much. So it's topping up. It's you're not needing that glycogen, so your body, or your glycogen battery, let's just call it, is or should be topped up. And think about that, like every day, if you train a lot, if you're either on the hybrid engine or JK hybrid coaching, like high volume, right? Most days, our glycogen stores can hopefully not,
They
but
get depleted
they get
constantly. You have
depleted.
to
They get
replenish them.
depleted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important in a taper to not change your diet or not change your nutrition, just because you're not doing as much.
Okay, that's right. And so if you guys don't know what we're talking about with fat oxidation and carb oxidation, just for reference, a higher fat oxidation during rest supports recovery, because then the body can use fat for their um, just the baseline energy needs,
Yep.
while the carbohydrate stores get replenished, right?
Yep.
So your training should support that, should it takes time though. Don't expect fat oxidation to increase significantly during a taper. The goal is to not let it decrease, like shut down, right? Uh, the main benefit to a taper is to let your body have time to refuel the glycogen, while it still relies on the fat at rest and at low intensities.
Yep.
Um, so what's really important here, though, is that Hyrox and Decafit and most of these other hybrid races that are less than an hour,
Mhm.
um, the primary like driver is going to be carbohydrate oxidation, right? So that's why we want to replenish our carbohydrate stores. Um, it's way more important than fat oxidation for your performance. Not overall, but like um, Hyrox is like that threshold, super threshold intensity, and in that, fat oxidation will drop significantly. So like fat oxidation will go down when you're burning like this because the only substrate you have that can be broken down quickly enough to provide the power or meet the energy demands of your system are carbs. When carbohydrates mean higher power output. Um, so fast gly glycolysis.
Glycolysis.
There you go.
Glycolysis. Yeah.
Words.
Glycolysis.
Glycolysis. Words for me.
Yeah.
Those are what are result in explosive bursts, which is like if you're surging, stations, all those types of things, which happens constantly in the race.
Yep.
So if you don't have the carb availability, um, you're going to hit the wall, right?
Yep.
Early muscle fatigue, hit the wall. We talked about idioms. Uh,
Yep.
so there you go. Um, that's not to say that your fat oxidation is not doing anything. It's just supportive. It's not primary. Uh, but the more supportive it can be, um, the better it's
Yeah.
going.
Which ultimately means the your body can recover
Yeah.
and recover better.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So just remember, guys, when we talk about this, low intensities and at rest, fat oxidation um, is high primary. It's also like if you're trying to lose weight, that's why you want to like get your metabolism going through
Mm.
a higher level of fat oxidation. But the carbs in something less than an hour, carbs are definitely primary, and they're going to be what are
Yep.
driving you and your performance.
Yep. Yep.
Um, cool. Uh, do you have anything to add to a taper? Is there anything like you always want to make sure to hit. Do you want to go swimming 2 days beforehand if you're not a swimmer?
Probably not. I think like to wrap it up, I think I think a lot of people do think okay, like as you did state, Anthony, oh like tapering, okay, I must stop. And it's not a hard stop. It's not a hard okay, I need to have 2 days of rest to like complete rest before a race. To be completely honest, here's how I view it. If you've trained hard and had a structure, let's just say similar to what I do, and that's 6 days of training, 1 day off for a week to week period. Your body's done that for X amount of weeks, X amount of months. Don't think to yourself, oh, just because it's race week, I need to change that. I think your body knows and is accustomed to that structure, so keep the same structure. And what I like, I'll give you an example. If I'm racing on a Friday or a Saturday as such, like I will still probably have my active recovery on the Sunday, slash rest day. And then I'll still do something every day up until the race. I'll still run. And this is what I was going to. I still run and maybe even like a light bike the day before a race. So I'm still moving because my body is used to moving on a Thursday. My body is used to moving on a Wednesday before a race. So it's minimal, sure, but making sure you try to think to yourself if you're listening to this, okay, like what have I done week in, week out? What's my body accustomed to on a weekly basis? Try to keep the same structure, but use these I guess sorry, not use, but change the volume and the power output as such. Yeah, that's I mean, like Anthony, like it's funny though because it does depend, right? It does depend on how much what your history of training, what your history of racing is, etc., etc. Um,
Yep.
that's why I'm assuming you do change ta each taper each time.
Yep. Usually I'll change them, but you got to keep in mind the goals for the tapers. So like number one, guys, if you're trying to make your own taper, you're gonna cut the volume, right? So as you cut the volume by 30, 40%, whatever it is, you're gonna end up lowering your glycogen drain. Uh, but you want to keep like some race pace intervals or some high intensity intervals or some threshold, something in there
Yeah.
to stimulate the glycotic enzyme activity. So like they keep burning. You don't want that to shut down. So you keep
Yep.
that so you keep your body efficient at burning the carbs. You want to make sure that you are topping off your glycogen stores. Don't stop eating. Don't do low carb or fasted training in your taper, and then your carbs don't repopulate or fill back up, right?
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and then, but you want to keep your muscle tension, and you want to do. We didn't even talk about neuromuscular, like CNS stuff, um,
Yeah.
but we talk about that. But like are carbohydrate oxidation is linked to fast twitch, which they have to stay ready. Like you don't want those to shut down, right? So still do like short sprints, some like jumps, things like that in your taper. Don't stop doing those things. Um, and you want to optimize your recovery, guys. So optimize your recovery. Prioritize your sleep. Reduce your stress in life and travel. Because cortisol, right? Your stress hormone. What do we talk about, JK? Stress is stress.
Versus
Um,
stress. Yeah.
so you want to make sure that you're hydrated, you have the right electrolytes, and that like you're reducing those stresses. Because if you don't, it'll reduce like your carb utilization, and it'll shift it towards fat oxidation. Um,
Yeah.
and then finally, let's just talk about CNS real fast. There are some primers that you can do. I think we've talked about this before, especially, but it's more like weightlifting. If you're trying to wake up fast twitch or you're trying to like do some heavy lifting, some heavy Olympic lifting and things like that. One of the things you would do like 2, 3 days out would be just like some yoke holds or some yoke carries, just like prime that CNS. Not a lot, like deadlift stuff, deadlift holds. Not a lot of them, but something like 3 by 15-second holds, or like
Mm.
a couple of 3 by 3 floating halting deadlifts
Yeah.
at like a moderate heavy weight because you load up your body that way and
Yeah.
you prime your CNS. Um, but that's more like for lifting. So if you're somebody though that does struggle and you need a lot of help on the sleds, that might be a place where you try to do one of those primers like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then get your fueling right. So make sure that you're fueling far out, and then as you get closer, and then day of and during.
Yeah.
Um, is there anything
Yeah.
else you want to add to the taper?
I think so. I think I as well send out a taper to anyone who is racing. And Anthony obviously does the same. So yeah, if you ever want to understand a little bit more, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us.
Yeah. Um, I think that's I think that's everything. I just pulled back up my notes here for the taper that we had talked about. It looks like we hit everything that I wanted to talk on. So, guys, uh, we will, like we said, our next 2, maybe 3, wow, 3 times we're gonna be previewing Hamburg in like three
Yeah.
weeks.
I mean, we'll probably do one or two episodes when I'm in London
Yeah, we should do one. Let's talk about, okay, so you're a
next
month
week.
you're a month out. Guess what? By the way, I'm about to say this because I was just gonna go through it.
You're coming to
Tomorrow,
Hamburg.
no. Uh Tomorrow is Lauren and my anniversary. So
Oh, congratulations.
it'll be 4 years. We've been married. We've been together going on 8 years.
Yeah.
Um, but so happy anniversary, Lauren. I don't know if she's listening, but I love you. You also, what just happened yesterday for you? Well, yesterday for me, 2 days ago for you.
It was Georgie's 26th birthday.
Happy birthday to Georgie.
Happy birthday to Georgie. Big 26 for Georgie girl.
2-6.
He's
That
sick.
dude, I am 10 years older than Georgie.
Don't say that. That's so
I am a
funny.
decade older than her.
That's so funny.
I'm about to be a decade in a year.
I'm sorry, man.
Man,
Uh,
man,
what
to
were
be
you
20.
doing at where were you at 26 just quickly?
Oh, what year was that? 2015. So I had my master's degree. I was working as an engineer. I was working at Camp Reno, uh, doing engineering for like American Ninja
Yeah,
Warrior
right.
and obstacle racing and designing things like that, as well as coaching and what else was I doing? 2015? Yeah. Yeah. I was doing a lot of CrossFit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were a CrossFitter.
Oh yeah. I
Um,
was working on my big numbers. I was trying to
yeah.
get to that 250 snatch, 250
Well,
pound
okay.
snatch.
Yeah. That's
So
heavy.
it's not so bad.
That's like my back squat.
That's my PR. No, it's
That's
not
my
your back
PR.
squat.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. Your back squat's like 120, 130 kilos, right?
Yeah, what's that? That's
That's
like
almost
two.
300 pounds. That's like
Oh.
50 pounds heavier than, that's like 50 pounds heavier, 25 kilos
Oh,
heavier than my snatch.
that's
Um,
right. Just.
yeah. No, it was,
Um,
I was trying to get my clean, actually, I think is what it was.
up to
Maybe,
what?
I don't think, I think I got a muscle up pretty early on, actually. I was trying for a long time for that, for like some months. My max clean, 315.
Yeah, 315. Solid.
Yeah.
Solid. Yeah.
Clean and jerk, I think I did 311. I separately did them, I think. Yeah, because I jerked like 330 behind the neck. Um, but like clean and jerk, I just never put them together heavier than that.
Yep.
So no, and then I was 2015. I think I might have ran a couple Spartan races. Maybe ran a couple triathlons. Maybe
Yeah.
I was doing mostly CrossFit.
Yeah.
Lots of CrossFit, getting the skills down, lifting weights. Yeah,
Well, happy anniversary for tomorrow.
thank you.
Um,
Tomorrow, I don't know if this will come out tomorrow or if it'll come out Thursday, actually. Probably Thursday, which would be a day after our anniversary. But um, tomorrow is 1 month until Hamburg.
there we go.
30 days.
30 days.
Oh, that's for
Wow.
you. That's today for you because it's the third
Oh,
over there already.
it is. Yeah, it is the third. 30 days.
30
Man, it's
days, JK.
gonna come quickly.
Yeah, it is. You ready?
I'll be ready in 29 days for sure.
Nice. So
Well, yeah, I'm ready.
that's exciting. All right. If you have anything else, otherwise we can take us out. I'm excited for the
That's
next
it,
couple
man.
episodes.
Yeah, feel free, guys, especially that taper chat.
Yeah, if
If
you have
you
specific questions, guys, for the upcoming
please.
episodes, please send them.
Yep.
We do have questions. I just didn't address them here, and we're gonna let them backlog unless they have specific questions to our next two topics. We're gonna let the
Yep.
questions backlog, and then we'll go over them all again.
Um, and yeah, jk.james.kelly on Instagram if you'd like to get in touch.
Yep. Or you can find me at the Hybrid Engine on Instagram. JK, I just saw a shadow moving in your background. Was that Georgie?
That was Georgie. She's just come back from her morning ride. I think she actually went out for a 2.5 hour ride this morning. So
Oh, wow.
she just
Well,
come back.
happy
Yeah.
birthday, Georgie. A little belated.
Yeah, happy birthday. I don't think she can hear, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, she's more of a triathlete these days than anything else right now, but
That's awesome.
she's loving it. She's absolutely loving it.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for having a listen.
Talk soon.
Thank you for listening to the Hybrid Coaching Podcast. If you'd like to reach out and get in contact with us, you can email the Hybrid Coaching Podcast at gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram either at the Hybrid Engine or at jk.jameskelly. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.